We have been married for 8 years. Together for 10 plus we have a 8-year-old and a 5-year-old son. My wife also has 3 children from a previous marriage. When we first moved in together 2013, she quit her job and was able to get an admin job at the company I was working for. During that time, her and this dude I knew from that company hit it off, and he would carpool with her to the house and vice versa. Sometimes he would get off and hang out at my house with me, and I really didn't make much of it. I thought that was a healthy coworker relationship. I knew the guy before I met my wife. The guy was married. We had hang out together, him and his wife and me and my wife girlfriend at the time at Christmas parties, etc., and it seemed like a really healthy relationship. My wife would talk to me about what he would tell her and how his wife was pregnant, and so on and so forth, and I never made anything out of it. My wife only lasted at that job for about a year. We never hear from dude again, other than maybe social media. Fast forward a few years. I quit my job late 2017 to start my own real estate practice. Ever since I switched jobs, things have gone downhill from there. Mainly because the first year I used all of our savings to keep afloat. Didn't make enough money to replace my old income, and our lifestyle took a hit. I had to take odd jobs and side jobs that wouldn't conflict with the start of my real estate career to keep up with bills and home expenses, until my business could take off. After having our second child 2015, her oldest move out 2018 to go to college, and me starting real estate, it was a whirlwind of changes that took a hit in our relationship. We no longer seek the same things. She would complain about my disconnect from her and how I was never mentally there in the house, which I admit. The first year in real estate made me go into this deep depression, and I was in a really dark place. Fast forward to 2020. We had an argument where she mentioned to me that she was craving attention because I wasn't giving it to her. We had stopped having sex for like months at a time. My wife spends all day watching Netflix when I'm at home. Never cares to put the kids to bed. Never cares to do anything else once she's done with work. And I was mostly scrolling through my phone. I decided to take a trip after 3 cancellations to go see my mom. I told her to come with me, and she said she couldn't do it, that she had to quarantine before she can get back to work, and that I should go. Me and the boys. I go to see my mom with my 2 boys. While away, I had this weird vibe from her. She was treating me as if we were friends on the phone and via IM. Very weird and inexplicable. Long story short, I get back from the trip, and the conversation she has with me is, "I think you and I are in the process of breaking up. We haven't had sex. You don't seem to be happy," etc., etc., etc. I told her I was indeed in a dark place and not feeling emotionally well, mainly because my relationship with her and how things were not according to expectations at work. But then I wanted to pull through, and I even said then, "I believe we still have a 50/50 chance to salvage our marriage if that's how you feel." We start the process of figuring out what we are going to do for our marriage and kids, and I start going to counseling for my depression. Long story short, again, I pull myself out focusing on work, exercise, and healthy eating. My business takes off in ways I couldn't even imagine, and while all this is happening, we are sleeping together and still married, trying to figure it out. I get a text from that dude's wife with all the screenshots of my wife and him talking, meeting up for lunches, calling each other babe, sending each other videos and pictures. Her saying how she loves his voice and how he wants to see her, etc. All this shit happens while I was gone. Before we had the conversation of "I think we are in the process of breaking up." It gets even worse. There is a text from 2013, the day that I proposed to her, of her telling him how I just proposed to her and she had a wet dream with him. I called her up, told her we needed to talk about this dude, and asked her if she met up with him. She says yes, and there was some serious making out. I confronted her with the pictures of her and him in what appeared to be a house, and she didn't tell me where it was because it would sound worse than what it is. I took a day to soak it all in, and the next day I told her that we are just raising kids. I don't want to be with you, and as soon as we figure out how are we going to do with the kids, I'm out. She literally tells me that this was my easy out. WTH. I didn't go out and met with an idiot that can't even count to 100 and is a garbage father to his kids and wife, has been in jail, and is in probation at the moment. God was good enough to allow me to see this guy the next day. I encountered him at an office and kicked his ass. He ran. I told my wife they both thought there wouldn't be consequences to their actions, my wife, and I had a talk after I calmed down, and to her it was just a minor mistake. Did I mention she ended her previous marriage with an infidelity on her end as well? In my mind, she gave up on me before she even told me. In my mind, her actions spoke louder than words. And now, I'm making solid money. Have a 3+ years solid real estate practice, have lost 20 pounds and am eating healthy, reading, etc. And she sees how I have pulled myself out from depression and are doing great. And now she's thinking she should keep me. But to me, I don't see how we get past that and how we get back to loving each other when the ultimate disrespect has been committed. In my mind, this thing is over and I don't see it other way. Story 2. Wife cheated while deployed and continued to once she got back. Wife was deployed for 7 months. Spent the entire time complaining about how her command was hounding her about cheating but claims it was a false accusation. Gets back and starts disappearing for days at a time while claiming she didn't have signal, wasn't paying attention to her phone, etc. Confront her about the fact that I think she is cheating and she denies it and tells me she doesn't have to explain herself. Well, at this point, that as well as other issues, I tell her I am going to file for separation. She proceeds to spend the next week who knows where, then goes underway with her ship again. I get an email from her the night before they pull back and telling me how sorry she is and that she wants to try to fix things. Calls me the next day to say she is ready to work on the things I told her needed to be worked on in order for the separation to not become a divorce. Over the course of this conversation, I tell her to be honest about what she was going off and doing, at which point she admits to having a fling but denies ever having had sex with them. She also claims that after I confronted her the first time, she felt awful and ended things. I reacted by changing the locks to the house and telling her she is not welcome there currently. I also asked for the name of the person and told her if she did not provide it, I would show her command the text messages where she admitted to cheating and have them find out. She proceeds to spend the rest of the day begging me not to tell her command and saying she will do whatever I want to try to make things better. There is some more to the story after that, but I'm honestly too exhausted to even think about it much more. Trying to figure out if this marriage is even worth trying to save or if I should just cut my losses, give her command the text messages and have them both lose rank and divorce her.